Most people think therapy is about having a breakthrough. It's not. Breakthroughs feel powerful, but change comes from repetition, regulation, and practicing something different when it matters. This is metatherapy, where we don't just talk about mental health, we build the skills that make it work. Before we go further, a quick note. While I am a licensed therapist, this is educational content. It is not therapy. It's not personalized mental health treatment, and it's not a substitute for working with your own licensed professional. If you're looking for individualized support, metatherapy can actually help you with that too. We offer customized therapist matching at metatherapy.guide, designed to connect you with a clinician who actually fits your needs, goals, and personality. Here, what we're doing is strengthening your psychological capacity. So whether you're in therapy or not, you're building skill, clarity, and emotional maturity. Every week, metatherapy has a rhythm. Meditation Mondays is structured psychological meditations to prepare for therapy, process after sessions, or stabilize when you can't be in one. Therapy Tech Tuesdays is when we have practical guidance on using in technology intentionally to support mental wellness. And then Thursday Thinkers is conversations with therapists and experts about what actually creates sustainable change. This isn't inspiration, it's implementation. Let's get to work.
Is technology strengthening your attachment or stressing it? Today, you'll learn how your digital habits interact with your attachment style and how to use technology to deepen therapy instead of reinforcing anxiety, avoidance, or disconnection. This device has access to your attachment system 24 hours a day, and it knows exactly how to activate it. What if your therapy feels slow? Not because you're resistant, but because your nervous system is constantly being stimulated by your screen. Let's talk about that. Let's see. Every week on Metatherapy, I will be pulling one book from my shelf that has shaped how I think about therapy. Not as a book report, not as homework, but as a lens. This week's book is Attached by Amir, Levine, and Rachel Heller. One idea from this book that matters for today's conversation is this: your attachment system activates in response to perceived connection or disconnection. And so here's the question that raises: what happens when your attachment system is constantly triggered by read receipts, response times, likes, and silence? We'll come back to that. So let's talk about passive versus deliberate tech. Attachment theory tells us when we perceive distance, our nervous system reacts because in the past, what that meant was physical absence, emotional withdrawal, and conflict. Now it means seen, but no reply, story viewed, but no text back, sudden drop in online engagement. Technology has digitized attachment cues. And here's the tension: anxious attachment plus constant digital access equals hyperactivation. Avoidant attachment and constant digital access equals strategic distancing. Your phone amplifies your default style. Your attachment system doesn't know the difference between abandonment and a delayed text. Here's the insight capture. When attachment is activated, insight shrinks. You move into protest behavior, withdrawal, rumination, and narrative building. And see, this is where technology can either escalate you or stabilize you. So instead of scrolling for validation, let's try this: opening your next session note and writing, what story am I telling right now? And then what evidence supports it? What evidence contradicts it? That small pause interrupts escalation. So now let's move into pattern tracking plus attachment. Let's go a bit deeper. If you start tracking when you feel anxious, when you're checking your phone, When you're feeling rejected or when you're shutting down, you may find patterns such as only spiral when I text first, or I withdraw after conflict, but then check obsessively. Technology reveals your relational rhythm. But here's the caution: tracking is for awareness, not self criticism. Perfectionism will try to weaponize data. Growth, however, uses data gently. We talked last episode about AI, and I'd like to talk a little bit about how AI can also be a reflection partner or an attachment lens, so to speak. AI can help you articulate, I'm feeling anxious because blank. But here's what AI cannot do: it cannot provide secure attachment. It cannot co regulate your nervous system. It cannot look at you and say, I'm here. That's relational. And therapy is relational repair. So AI can organize your thoughts, but it cannot organize your attachment. If you use AI, then bring those reflections into the therapy you do have or into relationships that are meaningful. Don't let it replace the relational work. So now we're going to get into the algorithm audit. And here's where I'd like you to ask yourself: does my feed trigger comparison, increase security, amplify outrage, or normalize emotional volatility? Or does it promote reflection, encourage groundedness, and expand perspective? Your nervous system marinating in chaos will struggle to feel secure anywhere. You cannot scroll your way into secure attachment. Instead, you build secure attachment through boundaries, reflection, relational repair, and nervous system regulation. Attachment isn't about being needy or distant. It's about how we respond to perceived closeness and distance. Technology increases perceived distance cues, which means it increases activation opportunities. This week, I'd like you to notice when your phone triggers you, is it actually about the phone or is it about attachment? Here's this week's micro action. Before your next therapy session, track 3 moments this week when your phone activated you emotionally. And here's what I'd like you to write: write what happened, you felt, and what you feared, and bring that into your session. Watch how much more specific your work becomes. Technology is not neutral. It interacts with your nervous system. It interacts with your attachment. It interacts with your growth. Design your digital world the way you want your relationships to feel. If this episode helped you think differently, like, comment, and subscribe. On Meditation Monday, we'll work directly with the nervous system. No Wi Fi required. See you there.